Three collectors from three different perspectives come together for a weekly show that catches you up on the hobby you love. Hobby news, hobby drama, insider talk, and everything from collecting, investing, and selling. Welcome to Inside the Hobby.
Hi, I'm Brian with Gray Street Sports Cards, and this is Inside the Hobby, and I'm all about starting an online card shop on a budget.
Hi everybody, it's Nicole from the Phoenix Card Shop, and I'm here to remind you that who runs the world? Girls.
And I'm Frank AZHP, and I absolutely swear this is not our third time recording this episode. I swear.
Not at all.
Third time in a week and a half. Let's jump right into news. Brian, you have been doing some insane level of investigative journalism, I guess I want to call it, on a scumbag of the hobby, right? To put it lightly.
Yes.
Is that our new segment, Scumbags of this Week?
Scumbag of the week. Week. What do we got, Brian?
Yes, I have. And the person that we're going to be talking a little bit about here today is Eric Michael of Major League Profits. To preface this, we're going to go talk a little bit about, a little bit about his backstory, what got him to where he is. Also, to kind of get started, just find out from you guys, starting with you, Frank, what is your background knowledge of knowing anything about Eric Michael and Major League Profits?
So initially, I guess I should just start with recently. Recently, This Cardboard Life, which is a meme Instagram page for sports cards, collectibles, etc., posted some funny memes about Mr. Eric Michael, My Little Pony, aka EricMichaelMLP. And that's the first thing that pops into my head when I think MLP, because I've been around the internet for a decade, much longer than that actually. But he was doing some memes, and I was like, what is all this about? Who is this guy? What is going on? And I went to find him, and I went to his page, and I had blocked him already. So I was surprised. I was like, okay, all right. And then so I went to my block list and unblocked him, and then started getting a ton of ads, and I realized why I blocked him. So that's... And other than that, the only thing that I know is what I had heard from you. So now I've re-blocked him now that we've done this whole process as well, and now that I've been filled in on the scenario, and it's quite interesting. Nicole?
Now, I knew nothing of this until Brian started talking about it, and then I researched it. Now I can't unsee most of the things I've seen. And in certain parts, somewhere you hear me screaming, my eyes, my eyes. So, it's just not somebody very shady in the hobby. We need to make sure younger generations don't follow.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Very much so agreed there as well. And so now I'll go and talk a little bit about the backstory, where he came from, how he got his money, like some of the program, as well as prefacing this as well. I did take his free online course. So I was able to kind of sit through and learn a little bit about the process. And in doing so, I got a little bit of information. Of course, we'll be talking a little bit about some things that are opinions, because we don't have facts of when you purchase to know exactly all the details, but we'll get to what that is, and you can come up with your own opinions from there. So Eric obviously is the founder of Major League Profits. In his videos, he talks about it established there in 2020, like right around just before the pandemic is what he kind of mentions. I did kind of dig a little deeper and looked on LinkedIn for a lot of this next information, where he does state that it was started actually in 2018, but that's also, of course, a LinkedIn kind of statement there. Of course, we just talked about his advertisements. If you've seen them on Facebook and Instagram, they're very cringy. They're clickbait. They try to capture your attention and bring you in to kind of see him, and then see somebody selling stuff for high profits. So it's talking big money. and then take my course and give some sort of a fact on what it is, which is usually very basic stuff that we all kind of know in the hobby. But if you're not new to the hobby, or if you're brand new to the hobby, or jumping back in, it may like sway you if you're on the outsides looking in. But either way, that's how he kind of gets his start. And then diving further into him on LinkedIn, he mentions that he did go to Rutgers Business School, received a bachelor's degree in finance and financial management services. And then in his video, he mentions, on YouTube, he mentions stuff where he had an apparel company that went under due to quality issues from the provider of it. He doesn't mention this anywhere on LinkedIn. The only thing he kind of says anything about was digital marketing executive for Fire Media, and then has testimonials from a real estate agent as well as many LinkedIn posts to try to get people to sign up and take his coursework in his digital media that he was doing at that time.
Let me jump in real quick. I'm already seeing like a couple red flags. Like, first off, if you had a clothing company and it went under and you are being open about a company that you started going under, I don't see anything wrong with that. You have to fail in order to learn from your mistakes and win, but it seems to me that it's kind of weird that it would be, I had a clothing company, it failed because of quality issues. Like, isn't that under your control? Isn't that under something that you supervise? So if it went under because of that, you can just change quality, change provider, get a different company. That to me,
but that child labor was so cheap for him, right?
Come on. That just seemed weird. And then the whole digital marketing for Fire Media, as you say, that seems weird too, because everything I've seen from the slides that we will show people here in just a moment, as well, which many of those are old, as well as his current stuff that he's putting out right now for this Major League Profits, the design, the marketing and design aspect of it is absolutely awful. Like, I've never worked for any type of media graphics company or anything like that. I do have experience with Photoshop, Illustrator, Adobe Premiere, After Effects, etc. This entire presentation and this production is an example of that. My own logo, doing the trading cards, stuff like that. And I don't have any actual media marketing experience, but typically people who are in those positions are well beyond what I know and what I can do. So it seems to me that's another flag, like another kind of weird red flag. Like, hey, I worked as a digital marketing agency guy for this media company. Really? Well, then why are your graphics? And he has a degree
in finance.
Why are your graphics like complete ass? Like, I don't know. That's a flag for me as well. But
very true. And I would agree with that. I did work for a real estate marketing agency for a couple of years, and when I worked for them, even the presentations our CEO would put on for people were like very professional. Like, it, you would think that you're looking at someone that's doing like an actual professional grade thing. He hired people that would make things that were producers, like they would produce a show for him like this, of that kind of standard quality. And that's just very standard. Even in his slide decks of what he would put together, he has someone that would make them for him. So it is very much so a red flag to see those things.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I those are just kind of awkward things that I noticed. Of course, we don't really know the 100% accuracy of some of this information because it's coming from his own words. So,
True.
But go on.
Yes, and yeah, like I said, everything is coming from his LinkedIn. He has not been on that in about 3 years. When we look at a lot of the activity, he does have one post for Major League Profits on there. And then the rest of the posts prior to that are 4 years ago when it's this real estate Fire Media that he talks about. And that's kind of what kind of prompted me to look a little bit further into it. And I scrolled down and found a presentation that he had where he talked about how his marketing worked. And right there again, it was all about clickbait. He mentioned that his team would set up clickbait ads to get the leads when they're on Facebook to click. Once those leads would give the information based on the clickbait ads, and they mentioned the words buy or sell, then his team would jump in and make calls to contact that lead very aggressively. And it was like 2 times in the first day, 12 times in the first month, 14 times in the additional year, and so on. In the real estate world, that seems extremely aggressive, even for the one that I worked for that had automated reach out for it and so on. They wouldn't have that aggressive in a campaign to reach out to a lead to try to get him to commit. But then again, this is also 4 years ago. Times are different. And so that was kind of like his businesses. He mentioned that this business also did end up failing and not working out. And that's when Major League Profits kicked in. He says that in the beginning of his training, he talks about that he was using his income from buying and selling autographs to pay for his school, as well as funding some of these business ventures he did. So after he graduated, he mentioned he was still doing this and buying and selling sports cards, and that's when it dawned on him after the first 2 failures to then go ahead and go full-time into sports cards. And he decided to do Major League Profits to teach others with this course. And that's where the course and the kind of things come into play of what it is on there.
So 2 more random red flags here. First off, to selling cards and autographs to pay for school, unless you're dealing in like really, really high-end stuff, then that's not going to pay for college. Especially at, where was it? Rutgers?
Yeah, so he's in like New Jersey.
Top 10, one of the top 10 most expensive schools in the United States.
Unless you're buying and selling like Jeter autos, Kobe autos, stuff like that, and you are extremely and highly active on like all internet buy-sell trades as well as at shows and all that kind of stuff, I don't see that. Maybe helping pay for school, but not really pay for school. And then the other thing, shoot, I forgot. You had mentioned something else.
Him like selling cards to kind of get into it, or the fact that he went into the course.
Oh yeah. And then he said to teach other people. No, this guy is not developing a course for other people to teach other people stuff. If he was doing it strictly to teach other people, it would be on YouTube for free. Exactly. He's doing it to make money. So that seems a little disingenuous. I don't know. Like I all my content on YouTube, on my personal channel, Frank AZHP Collectibles, it's all free. I'm not trying to sell you anything, and I show you what I buy and why I buy it. And I don't tell you what to buy, but I tell you what I'm buying and why I buy it. And why I think that those are good, smart, not only, you can call them investments or whatever, but essentially I'm a collector. I just happen to collect things that are a good investment because I've been a collector for so long. Now don't get me wrong, there's some things in my collection, like my Dan Marley collection. I don't expect to retire off of that. That's strictly for fun. But point being is I will give all this information away. We even do on the show. Last episode we talked about the Hall of Famers, the guys who may get the last final cut of the 2024 Hall of Fame Pro Football class. And, we're telling you this information. It's free. We're advising, hey, I would advise somebody, go out and buy some of these Hall of Famer guys. Because you know what? Unless they pull something like a Brett Favre or an O.J. Simpson, you're not going to see dips in their cards. And even then, you didn't see that much dip from Brett Favre, and O.J. Simpson even got a bump originally. So like...
He even got a bump when he got out.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I don't know. It's just another disingenuous statement, which seems par for the course for this guy. But I'll let you continue, Brian. I had to poke my mouth in for some red flags.
Yep, no
Every
worries.
Every time you say the word fire, I keep thinking of Beavis screaming, fire. Yes.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
Exactly, the good stuff. I do have a best friend named Beavis, so shout out to Beavis.
Nice. So yes, his very last post on LinkedIn, he does make one for Major League Profits on there. Very interestingly, the only comment on that is that someone says, "This is a scam." And that's it. And then the engagement of everything goes pretty much away. And even if you take a look at his LinkedIn profile, you'll notice that for a guy that's basically followed as much as he is on all the sources of that, here he is on LinkedIn. And yes, LinkedIn is a more professional atmosphere, but like even Mr. Beast, when he's making posts, gets a ton of like following on that kind of stuff that he posts on there. And this guy has a lot of followers, and yet here it is, like little to no likes, comments, or anything on any of his posts. So those are some of the red flags for me as well, which is why I dug into it.
Same thing for his Major League Profits page on Facebook. Like
Exactly.
hardly any
There
comments.
is no eBay screen name for that.
Yeah,
still.
there's a bunch of laugh emojis on Facebook, which obviously you can't do on
yes.
Instagram. But most of his Instagram followers are fake. Like I don't recall. I've reblocked him. I don't know if you guys have him unblocked. Check and see how many followers he has on Instagram.
I think it's 27,000 or something. I thought I saw.
27,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that would put him in like top 10 most followed sports card trading influencers. And that's just not the case, especially with the engagement that he gets. He gets some comments saying this stuff is obvious or this is a scam or whatever, which he deletes. But he's
Except
getting
for the one that he left up there that says it's a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was on a LinkedIn. He removes the ones on Instagram. But
And I mean, that's part of like what had me kind of look into this as well, is that when I was looking into him, like there's very little media out there on him. Like Blowout Forums, of course, they have 3 pages, most of the same that we're talking about on his Facebook page, people trolling him, people saying this is a scam, giving away like those that did sign up that maybe give some like testimonials, but they don't really name themselves. You can tell they're anonymous of whoever they are because they created an account to say it. But either way, Blowout Forums does have a lot of negative on there. The only other like article piece that's a review of him was from Beastpreneur. That piece was like an incomplete story done on him. They had some information. They also felt very off in when they were looking into Major League Profits as well as everything else. So their piece is very much so kind of like maybe steer clear. And then the other pieces are local news fluff pieces, which are paid for pieces that they must have like gone ahead and did to like promote and make him look a bigger. And then from the most modern era, like you'd think Sports Card Radio would have had something to blast this guy with, but they don't even have anything out there on him.
that's
The most
surprising.
recent.
They're
Yeah.
afraid of him.
No, they're not.
Oh, they're
I'm
not.
kidding.
They're
I'm
not.
kidding.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
kidding.
Okay.
No, I was kidding. Come on.
That surprises
The-
me. Like Sports Card Radio goes after everybody.
It could be that they see he's just not worth their time. Like that could be the case. But recently, Sports Card Dad did do a video on him. It is nothing more than he watched an ad of his and decided to make a video on it. There's nothing further deep dive from him on that point. So it's very much so just like, I don't know what he knows. I don't like he's very much so like testing the waters and trying not to like do anything that would get him in trouble. But I was like, we're going to go a little further. We're not just going to look at an ad and then talk about him. So that's where the next piece comes in of me taking his course. And so that started where I was trying to find out how much it costs. And if you go to Major League Profits, the one thing you will see is you'll hear the word profits, hear how much you can make, but never know how much this course actually costs. And even on Blowout Forums, the price varies from $500 all the way up to $3,500 for signing up for this course. So that also is another red flag. Why does we have different prices? Why not even disclose how much this course costs? The questions that I ask.
Yeah, that should be transparent. If the class costs X amount, that should be, hey, this is our class, and it's worth it because of this. It doesn't seem weird to kind of keep that hidden.
But this is exactly what pyramid schemes do. Is they don't tell you how much it is at first until you get suckered in for more.
Yes. Yeah.
That's true.
That is true pyramid.
It does.
We'll talk a little bit more about the pyramid stuff as well, because Nicole, you're going to find some lingo I talk about when I take the course that'll probably remind you of what those things do. Mm-hmm. All right. So yes, so when I took the course, the opening slides kind of tell you a little bit about this guy. Frank already hit on this. His slides are very much so like made in Google Docs and stuff like that, and Google Slides. But it is an opening slide of an escort is the opening slide. And it's basically him saying that prostitution is what this country was founded on, the oldest profession in the country. And he comes in and follows up saying, no, it's buying low and selling high, and whatever the business term is for that.
How does he know she's an escort? It's just a chick in a bra.
Once again,
And
he
even
probably
that
just-
that's such a dumb statement. That's like bordering on the Jeff Wilson stupidity of this country was founded on entrepreneurship.
yes.
Like completely ignoring the fact that no, actually this country was founded with slaves, but I mean that's besides the point. I mean
Happy Martin Luther King week, everybody.
that pissed off plenty of people in the hobby, as
Yes.
Jeff Wilson does. But so we got one sports card influencer saying the country was founded upon entrepreneurship, and the other saying the country was founded upon prostitution.
Yeah, I think he was trying to because they always say I've heard the statement of the oldest profession in the U.S. is prostitution or being and so on, but I have heard that kind of statement as well.
That is the Green Valley Ranch logo in Vegas. We should not diss it. Okay, just keep it that way.
Yeah. So moving into his presentation here, it's the beginning part. He talks a little bit about his inspiration, where he gets his money from and stuff like that, and then he goes into how the program works and then finishes it off with his 3 steps to success. You'll see those slides kind of playing through as we go, but some of his inspirations are people like Tony Robbins. That's someone that he someone that he follows in this. Also kind of getting on a little bit about what Nicole was mentioning with that whole pyramid kind of lingo in there. Then he talks about how he got his money for this, because obviously 2 businesses that went under. So how does he get funded for starting some sort of big teaching program? But he mentions that he got a loan from his brother to kind of start of it. And he does say this in the beginning of his video. It is actually a slide on there. You'll see it at one point. Has he paid his
brother back? Has he paid him back? No.
I mean, the amount he's put into ads to be continued on Facebook and Instagram, he's gotten to have some money because he had to pay to put those back up on there. But anyway, then he talks about who this program is not for. And Nicole, this really hits on some of the lingo of pyramid schemes. They talk about people living to paycheck that are not coachable. Who want something for nothing, people that want information but take no action, people that are not serious about making a side income, or people, and who it's for is the people that with money to put skin in the game, they're the ones that it is for, which that is straight from the playbook of
an Amway, 90% of an Amway presentation from the 90s. Seriously.
Bingo. I couldn't have said it better myself. The next piece.
I'm not trying to buy detergent.
Yes. The next piece is for everybody that when you're in the presentation and you go, well, if it's not for me, why isn't it for me? They say, well, they can only help between 10 and 20 students at a time that are hungry to get started. Also, very much so in pyramid scheme form. If you've ever sat through one of those presentations, I know I have.
The kind of the hungry thing was reminding me of a timeshare I sat through once too.
It is.
By the way,
it's all about making you feel guilty about when you feel that gut instinct that this isn't right.
Is what does it make? It makes you feel guilty about.
By the way, hungry means sucker.
Yes.
In every language.
So yeah, that is, that right there is language from every pyramid scheme. That's Amway, that's, timeshares, a lot of that kind of stuff. They're trying to you're going to have those moments when you listen to this stuff that you go, this doesn't sound right. And if you say the word, this sounds like a scam, that's where they say, well, it's not for you. You're not meant for this. And they kind of almost make you feel bad for even being in the room and shame you for even saying those words, because then you want to stay more. It's a mind trick for you to kind of actually sign up.
You just get you in.
All right. So the next thing about Eric Michael is that he goes into a slide where he talks about how adding more people to the hobby doesn't water down his sales due to the fact that the sports card market is growing so much, and that by it growing, it's not going to hurt his sales overall in that sense. Then he kind of starts to go and talk a little bit about how it all works from that standpoint of how you get into his system, which is, of course, what the course is all about anyway. And the very first thing that he talks about of his course of how the system starts is that you don't have to buy the cards yourselves, and instead you pay somebody $3 overseas to purchase the cards for you. You just basically generate a spreadsheet of the sports cards that you would like to go ahead and buy. That person then, I guess, all day watches and buys them for about $3 an hour.
I mean, this is more red flag. You had a red flag that I wanted to cover, and then we started talking about this, and this is more red flags. So it's just like the whole, it doesn't dilute the hobby if I, sell my my idea to everyone or whatever. Of course it doesn't, because if you're looking for your hungry 10 to 20 guys, and you are doing 10 to 20 people every month and a half, 2 months, whatever, of course that's not going to dilute the hobby, or cut into your profits, because the hobby is millions of people deep, and 80 years deep. So, but then you mentioned this new thing, and go on. And what were you talking about on that?
So yeah, it's basically, he says you have somebody overseas for about $3 an hour buying the sports cards for you.
Child labor.
Saves you the
Child
time of
labor.
having to hit purchase, maybe watching auctions to get them at an auction rate. I don't know. You have to buy the course to find out more details of why. He does have some videos on YouTube where he talks about this, where he was talking about how long it was taking him to purchase cards, but you can do it really from your toilet and whatnot. And I'm like, if you could do it from there, then why aren't you just buying it yourself? But yeah, there's this whole thing that Frank's holding. I don't know if he's ever heard of it, called a phone.
1+6, baby. I'm rocking an old phone. But yeah, it's a smartphone. It's got this app on it. Yo, this is wild. This is wild. Look at this app.
Let me guess, it's called eBay? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I've never heard of eBay. eBay, oh my god. What is this thing? What is it? Stop the madness, Frank! Stop the madness!
There's another app right here, too. The COMC. Like, you can be watching a game.
Anyhow.
But, yeah, I don't know. Go on, Brian. It just seems...
Yeah.
Hold on. I need a physical, actual red flag. I can just start waving.
You got a hat on that's
mention,
red. That might work. You just take your hat off and wave it.
Oh, go on.
So the next thing he talks about is the system of how it's going to work for it. Because, of course, he talks about you buy raw, you grade, and you sell high for the graded price. But to do that, you need to have grading process. And so his system takes care of that for you, because once the card is purchased, it goes to his warehouse, where his team then preps it for grading and then submits. And then once the grade it comes back, then you can sell from his service. And as he talks about this kind of thing, he mentions that you never have to touch the card and that you never have to physically see the card. So, for most of us as collectors, that's kind of also a very odd thing, because we want to actually physically see the card. There's this whole thing like what Nicole's holding there of an actual graded card in hand. Plus, ironically...
It's one of my private collection that I got from a friend.
This is a part of my private collection that I got from a friend.
Brian, you need to get some friends.
I do. I just they're not near me right now.
He can put up a PSA 8 or 9 Sean Kemp Fleer rookie card that I got.
Yes, I'd have to go to the closet for that one right now. But
High
so you're
rollers
telling
over
me,
here.
Brian, that in this system, I'm not really going to be touching this?
yes, you would. He says you would not have to do it because his team preps it for grading. So of course that's probably like the cleaning service that you get from a bulk submitter, just like DT Sports Cards does for us here in Arizona.
Who we love, DT Sports Cards. Shout out to him.
Exactly. And so, it basically sounds like he's offering you a bulk submitter thing, but then the selling from his service is the thing that's ironic, because that is one of the questions that I find from both looking on his site as well as going through this course is, where does he sell from? That is a massive question I have.
Can't find anywhere that he sells from.
Yes, and if you go on YouTube and find anybody else that talks about flipping cards, every one of them go, here's my eBay, because guess what? Even myself and Nicole, who do sell and flip cards.
That's it. If you want to see me juggle, I can get some more cards, but I know how to
Exactly.
juggle.
We
It's my
we don't
days
want
of
that. We don't
working.
want any cracked slabs over here. So.
Oh no, I got
Yes.
regular cards I can just juggle too. It's from my days of working at Circus through college and UNLV.
Oh,
There you
okay. She's
go.
got some juggling skills.
I worked in the carnival.
Nice.
Not a lot of people could say they worked at the carnival and they DJ'd at Spearmint Rhino on Thursday nights.
And cards on the side.
And cards.
Uh,
I'm a girl with talents, people.
more red flags. Grade with me. Pay. You've already paid me for my course because I'm the expert and I know what you should and shouldn't buy because I have money and I'm running ads. But not only that, but grade with me. Pay me for a cleaning service. Have me choose where these cards are going to be shipped. Not
And sold.
not bulk submitters who like everyone knows and have reputations and I don't know, more red flags. And then yeah, as you mentioned, where does he sell? Like, do we have is there any history of this guy actually selling cards anywhere?
Not on
No.
eBay. I checked multiple times.
No,
And you'd
no.
think, like, with him, like, promoting this and everybody that's going to be working through his course, that there's someone out there that's going to display their eBay, whether through Instagram or Facebook, because let's face it, anyone that is selling cards, what are we doing? We're promoting it somewhere on those social media platforms. We're transparent about how much we sell because eBay literally says how many cards you've sold, on it. It's like all you have to do is look at someone's
I
profile
mean, he could
and know.
say like, "Oh, I just sold it with a consigner or something." But like,
True.
okay,
But then mention the
So-
consigner.
right, exactly. If you're teaching
Right.
people how to do this, then and then that means you got to teach them about what the consigner fees are and who has the best ratings and who is a joke in the community and all that other kind of stuff. So like,
Also on eBay, it shows people, it has a star rating as well when people look to see how much you've sold, how long you've sold, how many items. And if you have a 5-star rating, you should go with those people.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 5-star rating.
Yeah,
I've sold over 35,000 items according to it.
exactly. Like, you can literally go on there and see this information, and there's other people on YouTube even that do
Yeah.
the same style of flipping that he does.
I mean, us three are three examples. I haven't had a store in years. I mean, I opened up a store part time during the pandemic, but other than that, we're examples of that. You can go
Yeah.
and look at the history of sales and how good of quality of service we provided. You can do this with anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. Whether it's large consigner, individual company, Burbank, or like consigner like DC Sports 87 or Probstein, whatever. I mean, you get the idea. Like, everyone has some level of, you can go to their eBay and look, or their COMC, or their alt, or their whatever they have been using for the last, decade and a half.
Plus, as another side note, if you want people to buy your cards, isn't it nice to let us know where you're selling them? Because as collectors, if you've got some pretty
Red
amazing
flag, or you
cards,
just
like,
hot.
I might want to buy them. So how do I buy them from you if you have them? And it's
Exactly.
the ironic piece in his testimonials on Major League Profits is that he says all this stuff about nobody needing to touch the cards and so on. Everyone in the testimonials has a stack of slabbed cards. They have a stack of them.
Things.
Yeah. And every one of them talks about they don't talk about that it's sold slabs. They always say, this is a stack of slabs and it's worth I've got $15,000 right here. And it's like, no, you don't. You have
a stack of
10 slabs that no one's bought yet. They're worth that if someone pays that. But at the moment, you just have a bunch of plastic and cardboard in your hands. So, anyway. So those are his, like, that's how the system works. And then he has his final part, which is the 3 steps, which they're just about as amazing as as the system sounds. Step 1 is you position yourself correctly by buying cards in the off season and selling them right when before the season starts. So, positioning yourself, making sure that you're buying baseball in the off season and selling it in spring training, and
Buy low,
let's
sell
face,
high? What a concept.
yeah, you buy low and
I
sell
have
high,
never heard of
and
it. Never heard of buy low, sell high.
and while
Except
we're
from my
selling during the
stockbroker every week.
relevance of a season, because that's when we're thinking about it. Like football cards sell during football season. Did you know that?
Oh my god! Oh
That's
my
what
god.
you've been doing wrong this entire time, Nicole.
Oh, I
You're-
always sell football cards during baseball season, and I sell baseball during badminton season. What am I doing?
This is
So-
this is the level of quality information that you will get when you
From
take the
this.
class for MLP, baby.
Yes.
That's how we roll over here. Let's give you obvious information.
Yes. Now, step 2, I think, is one of my favorites.
So wait a
Okay.
minute. UFC is a year-round sport.
Oh, then you just never sell it.
Yeah.
You just keep it forever.
Yeah, I'm screwed.
It breaks the chain.
I'm screwed.
So step 2, he talks about keeping your emotions out of it, and he says you do not need to know or watch sports to be good at this. You just need to follow his system. And then he mentions his favorite thing in every interview he does, every video he does. Scouts get it wrong most of the time in the draft, and 50% of drafts in the first round bust out after 3 to 4 years. So right there he does, yes, the scouts thing, true.
Yeah,
But
I mean that's obvious as well. Like you can pull up the draft class for any NBA, MLB, NFL. It doesn't matter. You can pull up any draft class from the last 4 decades and look at it and be like, what do you know? There's 1, 2, maybe 3 Hall of Famers in the first couple rounds per year if you're lucky.
yeah.
And occasionally
Hell,
you'll
there's-
get like a big one, and there will be a bunch of them. But
Every time I hear that phrase, in 3 to 4 years, the draft class is bad. People bust out in 3 to 4 years. That's the phrase, right, Brian?
Yeah.
So is he expecting you to bust out in 3 to 4 years? That you're only going to have that as a lifespan in doing this?
Yeah, that would be a good question to ask him, for sure.
that's what would happen if you didn't take his class.
Correct.
Yes.
But since you're
his
buying,
system is flawless.
since he
So
knows
I've wasted
all the
15
answers,
years of my life doing this myself.
You know what the problem is? The problem is he's the one who
There goes
found
my
the
30s.
almanac. He's the one who found the almanac and went back in time, not us. So
Yeah.
because he has all the answers, he knows
Because he's the
who's
Tony
going to bust
Robbins
it,
of
who's
this
not.
generation.
Right, of course.
Yes. Yeah. And his final and very last point, his step 3, is you do not do what he did. You follow one of his mentors. Once again, this ties back to the pyramid scheme. You have to follow a mentor.
And then you have to get 2 other people to join, and then those 2 people have to get another 2 people to join, and then those 3 people have to get another 6 people to join, so the pyramid looks good at the base.
Exactly.
You know what?
So,
I
yeah.
almost brought out
What do
my
you-
Luxor shot glasses tonight to show that, because I have different pyramids.
Okay.
They get bigger. I almost busted that out
What
from
do
my
you
shot
guys
glass
think
collection.
of Mentor Frank?
Ooh.
There
Hey,
we go.
I know my stuff.
You do. You know
And
your stuff, especially.
I actually learned on how to display stuff better by watching your video.
Oh, well, I mean, I was just getting it like I can all the
Because I
only
saw it from
difference
other people.
the only difference between then and now is between Frank and Mentor Frank is Mentor Frank claims that he knows the answers, whereas regular Frank is just like everyone else, does not have the answers. And
Okay, so Mentor Frank, let me get this right. How much should we charge to get to Mentor Frank, Brian? Because after all, this is our scheme. Here, you have to get 2 people, I have to get 2 people.
well, you know what? Besides that, you got to pay me.
Right, that's what I'm trying to figure out. How much do we pay you? Because first we got to get the people that are going to pay you, because we're not exactly going to pay you because it's a pyramid scheme.
All right, we're getting way off track, and
Yeah.
a lot of it
Alright.
is my own fault. We're trashing on this douche.
I think at this point we've kind of said everything we need to say about him. Like, we've gone through all of his steps. Like, yes, he
And-
talks about like not following him and so on, but in all reality, he's just saying like he made mistakes when he started. That's about it. And
I made mistakes when I started. I made a really big mistake when I started. Like,
we all do.
huge.
We all do. We will
Um,
continue to make mistakes.
Starting out, I used to put free cards in with my orders. So I put this baseball card in of I thought it was odd. It was a St. Louis Cardinal card, and it was a guy with it was just a swirl on the freaking card.
A swirl? I don't
A
know.
swirl. A
I don't.
swirl.
I don't know enough
You know,
about
little brown.
baseball.
Well, it turns out that was some air card that sold to $10,000.
Oh well, live and learn. Like, but it's never gonna stop. We're always gonna keep making mistakes. It's just a part of being human. Trying to claim once again that I made all those. Like, you can claim you've made a mistake or two and you fixed it and you know.
The guy sent me a thank you note when he sold it for 10 grand. I used to have it on my dartboard for a long time.
Wow. All right. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else to cover on this guy, or can we move on to like better news?
I think we can move on to better news at this point in time. Follow it up with a better story.
All right. Better story.
And we thank you for whoever is still with us during this show and just fast forwarded to this point.
If anyone has any comments or opinions or whatever on this EricMichaelMLP guy, hit us in the comments or on social media or whatever, and of course it may include it in our mailbag. But we're interested in.
Or if you've taken the course, and you can send us an email anonymously.
Yeah. If you paid him, let us know.
If you did, because like ultimately at the end of the day, we're just trying to say to everybody, please don't take his course.
Yeah.
And if you really need help, Barnes & Noble's the worst case scenario, man.
So I guess final question on this before we move on to the better news. Sorry for coming back to this already as well, but doesn't this guy seem like a lower end Jeff Wilson, like a budget Jeff? Oh, here's Jeff Wilson. Oh, but we already have that at home, and then it's this guy. Like, he's trying to sell you something. He's trying to sell his plan. He knows all the picks. He knows all the answers. It's all exactly the same as Jeff Wilson. I guess the only difference is he doesn't have like a production studio and high quality cameras and
I'm going to put it
graphic
in the best
designers.
Way. I want to put it in the best way terms of how I feel what it is. So Jeff Wilson, he is like the eHarmony of selling sports cards, and then this guy is the Plenty of Fish.
Okay. So, like, just the quality levels. Okay.
Quality level, and you're going to get scammed and robbed at the end.
That just seems like that's what it looks like to me. I don't know. Brian?
Yeah, I'd agree. It's, Jeff, I know, like, when I like first heard about him, it was back when he was first starting out, so I didn't hear about what he tried to do, and he sold his advice and whatever. But Eric definitely seems like the one that, like, there is no one taking his course that feels like I would bet that, in my opinion, I'd be really surprised to find out anybody that's selling cards through his system. I know there's probably some, but like it just feels like this is just a pyramid scheme where everybody's just told, and they're all sitting around with all these slab cards that are worth nothing to them anymore.
There's got to be a few who will probably justify their purchase and feel like they need to like.
And it's probably the people that actually watch sports a lot more. And it's probably people that watch sports a lot more that maybe break from his system of who to buy and just go off their gut instinct of who they want to buy and like have graded. Because like that's really kind of what it comes down to is like if you watch enough sports and go, I want to take a chance on selling Caleb Williams cards next year because you like him. Hey, do what you like, because at the end of the day, if you have a bunch of Caleb Williams slabs and you like the guy, are you really disappointed?
Get into the hobby. You'll learn some things. You'll learn from others. Some things you'll learn the hard way on. Don't spend more than what you have to spend. It's like going to a casino. You don't go to casino with your rent money.
What? Wait, what?
But I mean, like, just use some common sense. Like, it's really not that.
My casino host at MGM would totally disagree with that statement right now.
I just feel like a lot of people get caught up on these people who act like they know everything, and it's just stop. Just stop.
And it's unfortunate that they use like a lot of clickbait to capture people in, because there are people that are vulnerable right now that are probably going to take that "is this going to get me money quickly" route a lot sooner, because they may be desperate. And that's the other thing that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this and talk about them, is that the people that are desperate out there is find this video and find out, don't do it. Like, that's what I would rather have, because, don't worry. I know, times can be tough for people out there, but there is no one that, is going to give you the right answers for what to do to make money. But especially in sports cards, you buy what you like. And if you want to buy and grade and sell, you're going to learn from buying and grading your own cards. Like, you're going to learn, oh, that's not
watch
a 10,
YouTube.
And I got to look for more of whatever.
Like, watch YouTube. Watch breaks. See what the return on investment are on breaks. See what the return on investment is on opening individual boxes. Watch all of them, not just the ones with the big hits. Listen to people when they talk about a particular brand or a company. You can read up on the history. Like, all this stuff is free. So just anybody that offers to sell you their experience, chances are, a very, very large chance, those people do not actually have that experience and will not provide.
But if you pay $19.95 right now, Frank will tell you more things.
I mean, if you give me money, I'll tell you stuff. Don't worry about that. I might show you some stuff too. I'm just kidding. But let's move on to something a little more popular, a little more fun.
Yes.
What do we got here, Brian?
So right here, what we have is the Seattle Kraken's goalie for the Winter Classic decided to have a custom mask for it made. And in it, he has local Seattle players' rookie cards on there. Most notably, you can kind of see the Ken Griffey Jr. on there. I believe Ichiro is on there as well. And after the game, he wore it for the game. He got a shutout, which is one of the first that we've seen for the Winter Classics, so very nice.
And they threw fish.
They threw fish
over the people as they walked out.
Nice. And now his goal is to go around and have every single one of the players that's on there go ahead and sign that.
That's so cool.
And so I wanted to pass it off to you guys. I think this is really cool for the hobby. It shows a lot. Cal Raleigh, the catcher for the Seattle Mariners, is the one that breaks this story from Instagram. But Frank, what do you think? What do you think of this for the hobby and for hearing about this in the Seattle area at least?
So obviously, Seattle fans they are hardcore. You got 12th man with the Seahawks. They were heartbroken about the Sonics, and definitely still deserve some team to return. And had maybe a new Sonics, kind of like they did with the Hornets a while back ago.
And they got the Mariners, who've never won a championship still.
But they are diehard. They're diehard so much, and it's cool to see something that is card related in the sports world. That is not just Topps or Fanatics or Upper Deck or Panini or whatever throwing money at a player or a team or a experience or some social media video. Like, it's cool to see a player doing this, having fun, doing it on his own. You can see there's multiple different brands on here as well. You got Ken Griffey Jr.'s Upper Deck, and then you got the Topps cards. Like, it's to me, I think this is really cool. I think I would like to see more of this, and I think this would be a good piece at either the Mariners front office on a acrylic rotating piece in the front office or something
when you walk in, yeah.
Or maybe even in the Krakens as well after they're all autographed. I think it's really cool. Big shout outs to this goalie for doing it. Great idea.
I think it should go to Cooperstown on display or the Hockey Hall of Fame on display, because the Hockey Hall of Fame does have all the helmets from all the Winter Classics.
Okay, that's even a better choice than the front office. Yeah, screw the rich people. Give it to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yeah. Obviously he's just got to wait until he gets every single person to sign it, which Cal Raleigh is the first to sign it. So, he's already got one down and, however many more to go on there. And I'm sure he's going to enjoy the journey. That's part of the cool thing about it for him as well is as he's going, he's getting to meet these people. Maybe there's some of his heroes as a kid growing up that he gets to like now go and meet, which would be kind of cool.
I mean, who didn't idolize Ken Griffey Jr., even if you weren't into baseball?
True. I mean,
maybe not idolize, but like at least respect.
Yes.
You didn't respect Ken Griffey Jr., Nicole?
I didn't like him growing up.
I mean, you didn't even respect him?
I didn't like him.
All right, I think she should be gone for the rest of the show. Goodbye. All right, but okay, whatever.
It's a whole National League thing. Growing up, I was the Cubs. I never did anything American.
I get it. You're stuck to a team like 95% of sports fans. I get it. It's okay. But like all of these guys are cool, and they'll all sign this. Like Griffey will sign this. Ichiro will sign this. I don't know. I haven't seen all the people who are on here, but
it looks like it looks almost like I think I see like a Julio Rodriguez in there. I'm not quite sure. I can't tell exactly, but there's definitely going to be some more modern guys in there as well.
Okay.
So like I think those guys would be cool with it. I don't know anybody in the Seattle area or that has played for Seattle teams that would be not into doing this.
Mm-hmm. It's a really cool idea.
Yeah. Honor the city. It's just all in all a good story.
All right, cool. Let's move on. We have the top five sold players for the 4 major sports from COMC. This is about a week old at this point. So, it is what it is. But, let's take a look at these lists real quick. We're going to just skim through them real quick. We got baseball. We got Ohtani, not a surprise. Trout, not a surprise. And I know Corbin Carroll because he's Diamondbacks. But, I mean, I don't know much about the other guys. I also don't know much about current baseball. Does this list seem about right to you two? You two are the baseball people.
Meh.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the most sold. People are buying what they're buying.
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah,
it
the
looks
other dude is the
right.
Rookie of the Year for the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah,
Rutschman?
he was the 2020. Yeah, Adley Rutschman was.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Witt Jr. is plays for Kansas City.
City.
Kansas City has a really good fan base. They support, and he fits the Kansas City team, so it doesn't surprise me to see these guys on there.
Any potential increase in popularity from baseball players that maybe you think will be on the next list? Ohtani will still be number one.
He's going to be now that he's a Dodger.
Yeah, he's going to sell a lot more.
Yeah. Yes.
Is there anybody not on the list? Sorry, Brian.
I think the as far as the big names, that you could put Mike Judge, or Judge on there. Could be someone that falls into it.
Mike Judge.
I know. I said
you had
Mike
Beavis and Butthead in your head.
I know because of the Beavis thing earlier. Damn it.
He's still going to blame me. That's nice.
But yeah, Aaron Judge I think is one that could probably pop up on the list a little bit. To be honest, I'd say Aaron Judge replaced Mike Trout maybe in a way, just because Trout hasn't been as relevant. I think he's still going to be very popular. He's someone everybody goes to in the hobby, but I wonder how much they're going to try to it'll be interesting to see if Fanatics tries to steer away from him, being as his seasons and he hasn't really done much.
He's just getting up there in years, though, right? He's been in the league for 10 years. So
and he's not in the post. He's not racking up the postseason stuff. There's no trophies for the team. They're a bottom feeder team in that division, and to me, you've got to have trophies for your value to stay there in the hobby. You can't be the most expensive auto just because you have the biggest contract.
Right.
That's kind of what it feels like.
All right. And as for basketball, I mean, LeBron at number 1 is really not a surprise, as well as Steph. John Morant's not going to be there anymore since he got hurt. Shoulder, I believe.
Separated it.
So Luka and Giannis are also not surprises. I'm trying to think on who would be on this list that's not on here.
Joker.
Wembanyama.
Joker.
Yeah, Wembanyama's not on this list. I mean, he's going to be number 1 next time it comes out. I'm
True.
sure.
Joker's not on the list, and
yeah,
and
but Joker doesn't
Embiid.
sell like any of these guys do. Joker is amazing. I love him as a player. He doesn't, unfortunately, just doesn't have that same hobby appeal. People want, the high flying, flashy.
Hell, even I thought Draymond Green should be on here.
Oh, come on!
How much time we got left with Draymond?
Top 5 sales.
Yeah,
Do you think
S5.
Draymond Green is not selling near the top 5
If he gets
players?
suspended again for the rest of the year,
Yeah, but this is not like where they should be. This is like what people are buying. People are not going to buy more Draymond Green.
You never know.
I'm sure all this did is hurt his credibility. People hate him more now than they did before. Why? Most people don't buy cards of people they hate. He's very unpopular.
True.
Great player.
I will. The one thing I'll say about this list is, with Ja Morant being on there, like, it made me start to really kind of think about it. And having seen Wembanyama play, I almost wonder, is Wembanyama going to be like a Jokic, where, like, very good player does what he needs to do, but, like, he looks like Slender Man playing basketball. He doesn't have that flashiness that, like, Ja Morant is flashy. Like, he gets to the paint, and the guys that have always sold are the guys that when they get to the paint, they make you, like, remember what they did. Wembanyama looks awkward.
Right. Do I think that Wembanyama will be on this list 10 years from now or 5 years from now? No. I think he'll be on this list right now because he's the top rookie. And that's what people are buying. Just like, Zion and Cade and, whatever top rookie there is at the time, whatever the most popularity. Like, there's no other guys that are in the draft that are more popular than Wembanyama right now. Then on the hockey aspect, we've got a top 5, which, once again, I don't recognize everyone because I don't know current day hockey. I don't claim to. Of course, I know Crosby, Ovechkin, McDavid, and I think I've heard of Austin Matthews. I've not heard of Nylander. I know. I should be up to date more on my hockey.
Austin Matthews is from Scottsdale originally.
Okay.
Yep.
Who's he play for?
Toronto.
Okay. And then who's Nylander?
Plays for Toronto as well.
Is he young?
No.
Okay.
It's his last year and he's retiring, and that's why there's
really?
a big push.
I should know this. This is how bad I am with new hockey.
That's okay, Frank. They're there.
Does that list seem about right? Is there anybody that maybe is not on that list?
Connor Bernard.
Okay, so he will be up there on the next one, perhaps?
I think once he has more volume, because I think this is a volume list once again, where, like,
he's a rookie.
He's got a rookie, and there's not many of his cards out there yet.
Pick.
Okay.
He was the number 1 draft pick this year for hockey. They say he's the next Sidney Crosby.
So as Upper Deck releases his rookie cards, it's kind of like a Wembanyama situation. Okay.
And then he also is out right now 6 to 8 weeks because last week he got his jaw broken.
Ooh.
And they said he'd be out 6 to 8 weeks, but he was already on the practice ice yesterday.
Okay.
He is a badass. He's a 19-year-old badass.
They probably got him pretty doped up too. So
go Hawks.
And then we got on the football list.
Non-biased thing,
Of course not. Trevor Lawrence, that's kind of a surprise at number 1. He had a good year. I think it was his 3rd year. And he had another good year, but no playoff run. Lamar Jackson's not a surprise. Herbert is kind of a surprise. They have not played well this season at all. And Herbert's been out, hurt. So I don't see him continuing to be on this list. Burrow's been hurt, and he's been out, and he's on this list. So, like, even though this list came out a week ago, it seems like it may be, like, a month old or something. I don't know.
No Brock Purdy, no Mahomes,
Purdy, well, I don't think Burrow, Herbert, or Lawrence are going to be on the next list. I'm sure it'll be other people. Who it will be,
Travis Kelce's even not on here.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of Swift fans have been buying some Kelce's. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, whatever. We covered it. Yep. Does anybody have any opinions on it?
No, I mean, as the playoff games go, it's going to be like what we expect. The guys that perform well in the playoff games, or the guys that have notable games, they'll
Yeah.
spike up on these lists, kind of things like that.
And
Yeah,
then speaking of playoffs.
Playoffs?
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 I'm just trying to win a damn game.
Let's talk about playoffs, everybody.
All right. We're talking about NFL playoffs. Oof. Blowouts is what we should just call it.
5 out of 6 blowouts, yes. One close game.
Okay.
Which was the Rams and the Lions.
What's notable on the hobby?
Well, let's see. For the Dolphins, I think they're going to have to shake it off because they're going to have another year where it's them, not me. So,
I got the first reference. Was that a second one too?
yes,
I don't know. Okay.
because it's karma.
Okay, I don't know Taylor Swift well enough.
I don't either. I looked all this up to be able to have this conversation.
Well, Brian, do you get these jokes? Because I don't.
Oh yeah, like all the song titles of Swift.
The wife
She's
likes
not
Taylor
like
Swift?
she's not.
Okay.
No, she's not a big into that. It's just you just hear it from the references and everything.
Okay.
Because look what you made me do.
I'm guessing that's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wrote them all down on a card.
Oh my god! I'm not gonna get any of them unless you make it like super obvious.
No, but this is for whoever's watching. We do pander to
yeah, of
to
course,
our fans.
yeah. For
we
the
pander to
for
our
the
fans.
2 girls that'll watch the show too, right?
Wow, I think there's more than 2.
I hope there's more than 2. I want to see more girls in the hobby.
Yes.
Let's not get too far off topic here. So Chiefs and Dolphins.
2 cards
2
are
is
going
done.
to go. 2 is done, and Tariq Hill cards are going to start taking dives so people can afford them again.
I shouldn't say done. Like that assumes
No, I'm
Done
saying
for the
done
off
retiring,
season.
But yeah. Okay. I mean,
Jordan
Mahomes
Love,
has peaked already.
Jordan Love and
so-
CJ Stroud are going to be the ones that rise. They're going
Also,
to
that
see all
we're
them.
missing from the other list was a CJ Stroud.
Yeah. Yeah, CJ Stroud, I think, will be definitely a boost in his sales. Might see resurgence of Baker Mayfield a little bit because of the fact that he had a good game.
He's been playing pretty well.
The rookie out of Tampa, too, I forget the rookie's receiver's name, but he had a decent catch and run for a touchdown. Yeah, one of the long touchdowns was a rookie receiver that you could see, like, if he continues to play well in place of Mike Evans, if he's out or gets covered by everybody because they're going into Detroit for their game. So
right. And Jared Goff rookies might actually finally sell it.
Yeah. Like everyone considered Jared Goff a bust, and like here he is, 1 game away from the championship, and 2 games away from the great game.
His rookies are out of my 10-cent bin in my.
Okay. Well, I still haven't even picked up a Goff optic rookie. Jeez. I mean, I had a million opportunities to pick one up for probably less than $5 or something, but okay. So we might see a bump in Jordan Love, might see a bump in Mayfield. Josh Allen's already at his peak.
How about them Cowboys?
So no premium for Dak.
No.
After his cadence is all done too, we don't have to listen to that crap anymore.
Go.
Here we go.
Why does he do that? Why doesn't he fake out the enemy? The opposite team. Why doesn't he use that to fake them out? Like, why not say, instead of on 2, here we go, hut, hut, or something? Yeah. Instead, why doesn't he like on we? Because then it could be like, here we, and then like they would snap it, and the defense would be caught off guard. Like, I don't understand why they don't utilize that. I've thought that multiple times when watching these games. Or it'll be like,
what's the quarterback's name for the Jets? Zach, what is it?
Zach Wilson.
Thank you. He screamed ice cream hut.
Huh. You know what all this just does is make me think of another thing they could do for cards. We've got patch cards, autograph cards. Next up, sound cards that have an auto clip. So you can get a Peyton Manning and him going Omaha. You can get one of Dak doing his Here We Go and
look at
all
Brian.
that.
Brian with the innovative ideas. We haven't seen an innovative idea in sports cards for decades. Other than
Didn't they used to have those disc cards?
Yeah, Upper Deck
Yeah.
Power Deck. Yeah, I have a promo card of Jordan Power Deck. Cannot find sales on. Cannot find sales anywhere.
I
Probably
have
around
a
the
Drew
$80
Bledsoe one.
range. Huh?
I have a Drew Bledsoe one.
But yeah, I mean, they had those Power Deck audit. You could put them in CDs. They were
Mm-hmm.
cool. But like maybe have one that has like a changeable 2032 battery or something, and then you just like click the button or something. That would be cool. The only innovation I've seen in any trading cards at all in the last couple decades is Wild Cards Thumbograph, where they did like the thumbprint of the player on the card. That
Yeah.
was innovation. So,
Or identity theft, depends how you look at it.
I mean, what are you gonna do with somebody's thumbprint?
You never know. That's a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Goff gonna get a bump? You really think so?
I think
Is
Goff's
rookies
going to get
maybe?
a bump. I think they're going to get a bump this week when they win.
Do you think?
Oh.
Do you think Flacco got a bump, or do you think he's gonna get a permanent bump, or do you think he's gonna go right back down to where he was?
Flacco is foobied.
That's I think
no.
2008 was his rookie year, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember.
It is 9. No, you're
Okay.
right. 8. You're right. It's 8.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
So Eagles are not going to get a bump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And the Steeler Nation, well, the Steeler Nation is Steeler Nation. People are still going to buy it, but Kenny Pickett cards are not going to go far right now.
I mean, he's
Same thing probably with like Desmond Ritter, like other quarterbacks that were hyped all year.
At least with Kenny Pickett, I think he's got the hometown thing of why he's going to sell well and why he's going to be still there until like they for sure are done. Is that played for Pitt and now he's playing for Pittsburgh. You know, that's kind of where I think the tie-in of even like the Lions with Aiden Hutchinson could see a bump as well, just because of the fact that he's from Michigan or
Right,
played for
defense,
Michigan in
though.
there. So it'd be nice to see a defensive player come up on the hobby list as well, just because it's always
it would
dominated by
be.
the quarterbacks.
I hate just covering, like, I personally collect everybody, not just quarterbacks. But, I mean, if you're talking hobby, that's the only reason why I've mentioned quarterbacks is because that seems to be the majority of what people want. So, I mean, Pickett's still going to get more chances, more shots. It's not going to be Rudolph. And it's not going to be Trubisky. So they're gonna put him in there for another year.
And Trubinsky's contract's up, thank God. So let's see where he ends up.
Here's your favorite. He hopefully right back in Chicago, right?
Kill me now. Just kill me.
Bears
Swear to God.
fan. Bears fan. For those who don't get the reference,
Diehard Bears fan with a Chicago C tattooed on my back because I'm like property.
property of the Chicago Bears.
No,
there's a lot of real.
It's a Chicago C, so it goes Cub way too. So.
Okay. Okay. And I guess that's pretty much it. Anything else to say about NFL playoffs?
The Rams cards are not going to go far right now either.
Rams have never been the most popular of teams anyway.
No, but I'll never get rid of those rookie Cooper Cups either anytime soon.
Hey, those are great cards to have. Cup is a possible. He has a possibility of making the Hall of Fame someday. He won an MVP, didn't he? Or
True, he did win an MVP.
MVP and like set some receiving records. He's had multiple 1,000-yard seasons.
And set a Super Bowl record for.
And he's got a ring.
yards.
Yeah, so like he has a chance at the Hall of Fame. So having Cup rookies is not a bad thing to have.
The 3 rookies I have on this list right now of teams, even if they're out, I have Flacco rookie autos, Coop autos, and Pickett autos, and 1 Baker Mayfield rookie.
I mean, none of those are really bad to have. I wouldn't like go out and get more Pickett's or Baker Mayfields, but
I haven't been able to get rid of them since they came out, though. That's the problem. They just sit.
Okay, well, lower your price.
I have.
All right, we'll move on instead of talking about
the next topic.
Your sales here. We have a mailbag question, right?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
And this question comes from David at Auction of Champions, who sent the question to me by accident.
Hey, what's up, David? Thank you.
Thank you, David.
And he asks, how do each of us find our recent sales and comps for pricing our items?
Okay, you go first.
So I use TerraPeak through eBay, which shows me all the high prices, low prices, and gives me any type of time frame. And you get TerraPeak through the higher end stores on eBay.
Okay.
It's a free service and stuff instead of just using eBay sold. And the TerraPeak, it actually goes through, it'll tell me how it's sold, if they paid or not paid. Even I get that information too.
Does it tell you if something offer accepted? Does it tell you roughly?
Yes, and it tells me what the offer
is. That what 130 Point gets their information from?
Possibly. But it tells me what the offer did sell for, what the best offer was. So when you were looking, I know you use sold listings on eBay. So
yeah,
if on TerraPeak you could see what the best offer is and exactly what that price was.
Okay. Anything else that you use besides TerraPeak?
I use Beckett as well for other products, mostly for NASCAR and for MMA. And then I use TCGB Player for my Pokemon, Star Wars, and Magic, and Star Treks.
Okay.
That's my best stuff.
All right. Have not been familiar with TerraPeak, so that one's new to me. So I've heard of the others, but haven't used them. So Brian, what about you?
I mean, for me, I've just got like a tough stuff from 1994 that I just go through and.
And this is a joke of everybody making fun of me using a Beckett guide.
No, for me, my source that I've been using, because a lot of the stuff I have is either just low serial number, like mid to low serial number, or parallels and base cards and things. Nothing really special. I don't have too much of that, so I kind of tend to look at Sports Card Pro as my main source because it's a free, online app and source you can use for it. After about 15 days, you can actually add and remove any sales figures that are on there that aren't either credible or add them in if they're missing. And it's nice because it gives that average. That's kind of what I look for is like, if this is sold 100 times in the last year, what is the average of all those together? And even if it's missing sales because it doesn't pick up auctions or does pick up, this sale that's there, it's a close enough ballpark, especially if something is sold a lot, to kind of get you an idea that this card's worth $3 or $5 or whatever it may be. And then you can kind of go from there. So that's been my main one. If it doesn't show up in that app, I then go like you, Frank, to sold listings at eBay.
Okay. The, what was it, Sports Card Pro or something?
Yes. Yeah.
SportsCardPro.com.
Yep.
That's the one that looks like price charting.
Yes. Yes,
yeah,
it does.
So price charting I have used for many, many years for pricing video games. Loose, CIB, which is complete in box, or brand new and still sealed. And I've been using them for that for a long time. Is it free, or do you have to pay money to use that one?
It's free.
Pro.
It's free to use it if you want to get like the sales figures of like how much each card is sold for each week, with a bunch of other extra tools in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a subscription fee that you can pay for, but to get the information of tracking your collection, seeing how much your card is worth, and seeing all the data and being able to add and remove sales to make the numbers correct, all of that is completely free. I've even added cards to the database that didn't exist in there.
Nice.
So
okay.
You can even do that kind of stuff in there. So it's kind of like it feels like a wiki page where like you can kind of like everybody in the community can kind of be a part of it and make the card base bigger just by adding your own stuff in there.
Because I do like the format for price charting, and if it's free and you can, see a whole bunch of different. That's what I like about it is you can see a whole bunch of them in like small form factor. They don't take up a lot of space, and you can look at what the date they were sold as well. So like,
yep.
I'll check that out.
TCG Player is free.
TCG Player is free. Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
I don't see myself using that just because I don't do TCG, but it's good for the audience to know.
Yes.
So, as you guys mentioned, I pretty much just use sold eBay listings, but I'm not really pricing sales and comps for like sales, because I don't really do a lot of sales. I sell once every couple years, and then that's pretty much it, and the rest is just collecting. But I mean, at least comp for like value or what I'm willing to pay, I will use a combination of eBay sold listings, eBay buy it now, just to see what people are attempting to sell a card for, as well as the signed in price on COMC if the cards are on COMC. If you have an account and you sign in, the prices are lower than if you do not sign in, or if you see their prices on eBay. So sign into COMC and look at that. And then also on COMC, on like the top left, there is a number of sales within the last week or month. I think it's monthly. So even though it won't tell you what they sold for, it will tell you how many of them sold. So you can kind of get an idea of like how many have sold between eBay and COMC, and roughly what they are going for now, or roughly what they sold for as well. So it's kind of like a little balancing act. Plus, like, since I'm not pricing to sell and I'm notoriously cheap, I may find out what something goes for, but I'll still have my, and I'm sure everybody does this, my top dollar of whatever I'd be willing to pay for that XYZ card. I think
I'm going to show this here.
What is that? Oh.
I actually have one of my cheat sheets of whatever I'm working. This is what I'm
should
working
I
on.
Should I not show full screen then?
You can. You can show it.
Okay.
So this is actually me pricing stuff out earlier today. And yes, the quantities are correct of how many I had of that same card.
Oh, jeez.
That's just from one box of NASCAR. Unfortunately, I have 16 of them.
Well, good luck finding NASCAR. There's plenty of NASCAR fans out there.
Oh yeah. But
I'm
that
not
is
one
just
of them,
that is just when I have a dash through it in my secret writing. That means it's cheap. That means it's going to be like in a bargain bin.
Okay.
That's my bargain bin notes.
Doing stuff on paper like that is can be very handy.
Mm-hmm. I always do things on paper before I start working on stuff. Because it keeps me very organized, and then I do it as a time task. Because when I do my 12-hour days, I actually account for every hour I'm working.
Fair enough. That's a good, smart thing to do. So, yeah, we answered David's question. I think that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. Thank you for going over this episode 2, version 3.0. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to cover or talk about before we end the show?
I'm good.
I think I'm good too.
All right. I'm really glad
we'll be selling Frank's seminars at the Chandler Gilbert show.
No red flags. No more. Yeah, right. Shoot, what was it? What was it again? No, not manager. What was the position? Mentor.
Yes.
Frank. Mentor Frank. Give me money because I know better. I know what cards to buy. I will grade them. I will clean them. I will ship them. I will get the bulk discount. Because I have made those mistakes already. So buy my course.
And he will sell you all the hockey cards he knows.
All right. Thanks again for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.